everybody, it's Andre from the Eaglesoft Field Guide. I'm here with my friend Andy. Andy, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, and I'm going to put all your info below us here on the screen so everybody knows how to get in touch with you. But Andy is my go-to guy for collections. When I found out about what he did years ago, a question I always get in my Facebook group is, what do I do with the accounts that get old? And I say, you should have collected the money a long time ago. And that's my answer. But that's not really the answer to the question. The answer is, what do you need to do with it? And I typically say, I tag Andy in the post and say, hey, here's somebody who you should talk to about what you need to do when those accounts get pretty old. Is that kind of, you're my go-to guy for that, huh?
Listen, I'm honored and blessed that you think of me highly enough to refer to me there. So I appreciate that. But yes, we're kind of the folks that you're going to talk to about anything where you've got patient AR that's going beyond 60 or 90 days to infinity and beyond. That's typically where we live more days than not.
And I don't know if you know this. Well, nobody knows. Well, not a lot of people know this unless they've been to my seminars. But my first job at 14 was actually doing collections for a savings and loan. My dad owned the equivalent of, say, Care Credit.
Okay.
And we did, he had a savings and loans business in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And when I was 14, and that tells you how old I am. When I was 14, I was actually knocking on doors doing collections.
Wow.
Yeah, that was back in the Stone Age where you could do that. And I literally carried around a briefcase filled with number 2 envelopes with the account number and the amount due, and I would collect money.
Hey, at least it wasn't a baseball bat that you're carrying around.
Well, because I was 14, everybody just felt pity for me because they thought I was just the kid of the owner. So they would just pay their bills, and if they didn't, we would actually have sheriff sales. So we would actually call the sheriff, and they would actually put their furniture or their TV on the porch and have a sheriff sale. So that was my background. So I've never had a problem with collections, but a lot of the offices that we deal with, they do. And there's a problem with, if the over-the-counter collections get to that 60-day, 90-day period, they need somebody like you to come out and help. So tell folks a little bit about process. They call you, and what typically happens after that phone call happens.
Well, the most important thing, Andre, is that we give people great advice, and that regardless of, we end up working with them or they go with someone else in the marketplace. The most important thing is we give great advice, because it's kind of like a car, right? There's not like one size fits all. Some people argue that, hey, Chevy's the best. Some are like Ford's the best. Some love Toyota. And really what it boils down to is it's like a handpiece, right? It's a tool, and it can only, the results of that tool are directly proportional to the person using it. Mm-hmm. There's no handpiece that's going to change a non-trained clinician like myself to give great dentistry. You don't want to come to me for that stuff. I'll butcher it. So we always try to, give people choices and listen to them and hear what they're trying to do. If they're very traditional collections practices, they want to go back 2-3 years and clean up old stuff. Usually not a good fit for us. We're usually going to refer them out. And honestly, those people are not going to be particularly happy no matter where they go, because you're kind of setting that agency up for failure, in my opinion. So we talk to them, try to figure out what they're trying to do. Now with staffing being an issue, right? We're kind of in this post-pandemic COVID thing, although we're still kind of in it, which I can't figure it out. But anyway, right, staffing is an issue for a lot of practices. So they don't have time to follow up with statements and phone calls, maybe like they used to. Mm-hmm. So they see value in a partner coming in and doing some of those things basically as an extension of the dental office, which is one of the many things that we do.
Yeah. And I think that's you hit a key word, and I look for this all the time. On my Facebook page, where you'll find your face. It talks about the partners that I have. I don't have a lot of employees, but I have lots of partners that I work with on projects that are outside the scope of what I do. I don't do IT. I don't do the things that you do. So they're partners that I need for those kinds of things, and that's why we have to look at, in the same way a general practice has an endodontist that they refer to and a periodontist that they refer to. When we get to the point where we can't control our accounts receivable, which is what we're talking about today, we need somebody to be able to help us with that.
I mean, 20 years ago, it was a different story. Like, remember how dental offices were run 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
You literally just put a sign up outside your office, and and people would come, and like maybe you'd run an office, a Yellow Pages ad or something, and there wasn't all this insurance and social media and marketing and in-network, and now things have gotten so complicated. So, to answer your own point, we're in a very specialized marketplace. Things are not the same as they used to. So you need to have partners that can fill in the gaps wherever they are. And you're one of those partners, right? You're giving people great information on Eaglesoft only, right? I haven't seen that anywhere else. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and again, I like to stay in my wheelhouse. I mean, I know all the other softwares out there, but you know what? When you know something and you know it well, to me, I fly almost every day, and I'm in a rental car every day, and I get to drive every single car on the market. But it's great when I get back to the airport and I get in my car. I know exactly where everything is. I know where the dust on the dashboard came from. So one of the things that I always think about when it comes to collections, and based on my background working with my dad for years, there are certain legalities that start to fall into place when it comes to these collection calls and when they can be made and how they can be made and what we need to do properly. And that's something, again, if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're really new to the dental field, because we have a lot of people, again, post-pandemic, who are new to the field, and they've been dumped with this, hey, you need to collect this money. Yep. But there are rules and there are processes and things like that we really need, again, partners to be able to help us with.
Yeah, agreed. And especially in a communal dental office, right? Which I'm guessing most of the people you're working with are independents.
Yep.
That's who we typically who value our services the most, are the independents. But yeah, even that being said, dentistry is not like you're getting an auto loan where you're just going to tow the car off if someone doesn't, right? Like, you can't repo dentures. You can't have a sheriff's sale.
I could try.
I mean, maybe, but yeah, probably not. Yeah. But you've got this whole thing where, in addition to being a business, right, you're providing healthcare services, which, right, adds a whole different element to it. And the multiple, what you really want to do is find someone that reflects your brand and your values and performs in a way that you're comfortable. So there's nothing worse than, finding someone that doesn't fit the mold. Most dental offices are community driven. They don't want to just collect the money at all costs, right? With you and your suitcase, that's a different thing. You're defaulting on a loan. But here, they're trying to get more treatment acceptance. They're trying to get a relationship with these folks that's recurring. So it adds a whole different element. Then you add insurance on top of that, and you've got a remarkably different business. So it's really important that you have someone that recognizes that.
Yeah. And that's why, some things are just not the right fit for every office. And that's why, like I said, I like having people where I can, I say it's outside of my wheelhouse. Here's somebody to talk to. And again, if it's not in your wheelhouse, you're going to pass the ball too. That's really what I look for, because there are a lot of businesses out there that will just take whatever it is, but then they're playing at about 30% of their capacity, which means they're going to drop the ball, So.
My philosophy, Andre, is if it's not worth doing right, it's not worth doing at all. Those are great short-term strategies for business to just take everybody on. But ultimately, that comes back and haunts you. It's the same things like our grandparents taught us about lying and being greedy. Like, okay, it probably works for a little while, but it usually catches up to you. So we try to live very cleanly and give good advice, and we're a pretty mature business. We don't need to have every client. And we know we're not a great fit for every client either. So we want to respect them too. And, if they're not a fit, I'm going to refer them out to someone else in the marketplace that can better suit them and better help them. That's how we grow our business, is trying to serve people right.
Well, that's what I respect the most. And I want everybody to know. Can you give everybody your best contact information? Because I want everybody to know. Yeah, you can get in touch with Andy through Facebook, through my. Usually if you just do a search for Andy, I just did it a couple minutes ago in my group. You're going to find links to how to get in touch with you. But give me your info that's best for everybody to get. And again, I'm going to link it down below us here on the screen. But give me some contact info.
So my ESP currently isn't working. So most people will utilize the web or I'm totally kidding, web or the phone. You can go to our website, which is dentalpracticeninjas.com. You can see, our reviews, and then we also consult in a variety of other areas in dentistry to be fully transparent. If you want to call my cell phone, I really don't have a life at this point. 864 517 2233. You're welcome to call or text anytime. Andre, I see our work is, we're helping people, and it's very enjoyable. It's not a job that you just leave at the end of the day, like you're checking out at, the post office. I get texts at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night sometimes.
Yeah.
And, I want to be there when people need me. So those are great ways to reach out if you'd like.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it, and I'm going to make sure that everybody gets in touch with you who needs your help. But you know what? If you think you need Andy's help, reach out, and he'll tell you if it's something he needs to help you with, or if it's a ball he needs to pass on to another expert. And that again, that's why the scope of the people that I like to partner with have that ability. So I'm glad we got a chance to spend some time to do this.
Yeah, and I was about to say, like, I just feel like, and we've all been through it the last couple of years, right? It just seems like customer service is no longer there, and there's certain things that, right, we need to work on. But the ultimate part of it is, as cliche as this is, we are all in this together, right? And that's what I love about the dental business. Like, everyone really, to me, I would challenge anybody to come up with an industry that has better people in it that are willing to help you and collaborate. There's nothing out it. There's definitely not in medical. I can promise you that.
Oh yeah.
And to me, it's fun. It's not even really work. I mean, it is work, but it's not. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. So I just appreciate you having me on and you thinking enough of us to consider us part of your team. I'm very appreciative for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, we will talk to you real soon, buddy, and I thank you again.
Thank you. Everyone have a great day.
Bye-bye now.